spare.
This programme is sponsored by Fantasy EFL, the official fantasy football game. 72 clubs, 3 divisions, 1 game. Fantasy EFL.
But now Millwall find themselves in 6th with a stack of sides behind them, all waiting to pounce. And it is now Kieran McKenna's Ipswich who find themselves 3rd in the Championship table. Not quite perhaps finding the consistency they've been looking for, but their victory over Sheffield Wednesday just before Christmas lifted them into 3rd, their highest position in the table so far this season. And perhaps an ominous sign for the rest of the Championship, knowing that Ipswich are still yet to hit full stride. So London waking up after Christmas, and the early kick-off in the Championship this afternoon. A mouth-watering prospect here at the Den. As Millwall look to find a first win in 4 games and push their way back up the Championship before today's later kickoffs. But Ipswich know that victory for them would take them to within just 2 points of Middlesbrough in 2nd spot. Let's just run you through the top of the Championship right now. Coventry leading the way on 48 points, but that lead not as generous as it was a few weeks ago. With Frank Lampard's side dropping points in 3 of their last 4 games. That means the gap to Middlesbrough in 2nd place is now just 6 points, with Kim Hjelberg's side on 42. Then come Ipswich, then Hull, Preston in 5th and Millwall in 6th. So welcome inside the Den on one of the great days of the English football calendar and the Boxing Day fixtures. 1 game already underway in the Championship, 10 more set to get underway in a couple of hours' time. But this, as good as anything on offer today, as 2 of the top 6 go head-to-head. Good afternoon to Ben Tozer, who's alongside me this afternoon. And Ben, this time of year can be so crucial with the games coming thick and fast.
Yeah, it's absolutely crucial. It's a time when if you're struggling in the league or you're pushing for something, it's where you can gain real momentum and pick up points really quickly, because there's so many games in such a short space of time. So it's massive, and also, you know, for the players at Christmas Day, you've got to be really disciplined and look after yourself and make sure you're not overindulging and making sure that you're the ultimate professional.
Maybe a few of the fans as well having to show a bit of discipline yesterday, particularly those Ipswich fans who would have been up extremely early this morning to make their way across to South London for this big game in the Championship. But Millwall coming into it then, of course, off successive defeats. It's been an impressive season for them so far, in and around the playoffs throughout the first half of the campaign. What have you made of Alex Neil's side so far?
Yeah, I mean, they're working, man. Like, you know exactly what you're going to get from them. Of course, Femi Aziz has been so crucial for them this season, and it's a shame that he picked up that stupid red card. And they're a good team, and it's not a place where people generally like to go and play away there. So they've always got that in their favour as well.
It does tend to be one of the trickier places to come in the Championship. As for Ipswich, in their highest position of the season, as I mentioned, in 3rd, with a bit of ground to make up on Middlesbrough in 2nd. But does it look a bit concerning for those vying for promotion that Ipswich have started to creep their way up the table?
Oh, it certainly does. I mean, when you've got a team that's been there and done it 2 years ago, and they're looking over their shoulders at a team like Ipswich with the quality they've got in their team as well, it's ominous, as you say, and Ipswich, I feel like, will be in that top 2 come the end of the season.
2 of the top 6 go toe-to-toe on Boxing Day as Millwall in 6th host Ipswich in 3rd. 3rd was where Millwall found themselves just 3 weeks ago, but they haven't won since and have suffered successive defeats as they've slipped down to 6th. A string of teams in striking distance looking to pounce. So let's take a look at the teams here this afternoon, starting with Millwall. Alex Neil making 3 changes from the side that lost at Blackburn 6 days ago. Into the side come Caleb Taylor, Joe Bryan and Macaulay Langstaff, who makes just his 2nd Championship start of the season. Matthew Doherty starts in the middle of midfield once again, with Millwall without a string of players in that position because of injury. Milo Ivanovic has 4 goals in his last 13 starts. As for Ipswich, Kieran McKenna making 2 alterations from the side, which started the 3-1 win over Sheffield Wednesday at Portman Road last Saturday. Christian Walton continues in goal, with Alex Palmer, who has returned from injury, waiting on the bench once again. Changes to the team see Casey McAteer come into the side in place of Sindre Eggerly, who drops down to the bench, whilst George Hurst misses out through an injury picked up early in the victory over Sheffield Wednesday. So Evan Adon leads the attack. So a big day for both Kieran McKenna and Alex Neil in this scrap for a place in the Premier League next season, and a big afternoon, Ben, for Macaulay Langstaff coming into the Millwall side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's his second start of the season, as you say. Unfortunately, he scored, I'm sure, 1 goal last season, and he's only on 1 this season. But having played against this player for over a couple of years, and he's always on the shoulder, he's always threatening. If the ball falls to him in the box, he will take that chance. It's just unfortunate it's not quite worked out for him so far.
His time at Millwall yet to really ignite, but a big opportunity for him here today. As for Ipswich Town, well, Jayden Philogene, 8 goals for him so far this season, but curiously, Ben, not a single one of them has come away from home.
I know, I was surprised when you said that to me. Gosh, it gets you off your seat, doesn't it? He's exciting. He can go both ways. He's a defender's nightmare. As I say, he scores off his right foot, scores off his left foot. I think he's a real match winner, and I'm sure we'll probably see him turn up today.
The man in charge this afternoon is Tim Robinson. O'Shea hasn't missed a minute this season for Ipswich in the Championship. Real leader, isn't he, Ben?
He is, yeah. And, you know, about myself as well. I've played seasons where you play every minute of every game, and it's crucial to your teammates as well to turn around to you as a captain and look and notice that you're always there and you're always going to be there through thick and thin. And I mean, he's been in the Premier League. He had last season there. He's got so much experience now, and he is a real leader.
So Millwall just having a mini slump right now, no worse than that, and they still find themselves in the playoff places. A chance for them to move up into 3rd here this afternoon, but Ipswich know that they can close the gap on Middlesbrough, who played later today, down to just 2 points, and just add on a bit of pressure. 7 victories in their last 12 games now, and it seems as if those who touted Ipswich for promotion at the start of the season might be proved right, but this will be a real challenge for them here today.
Oh yeah, well, it's always a tough place to go. Then it's just when the atmosphere's bouncing and it's raucous, it's just intimidating for players to go and play there. But going back to Ipswich, they've been allowed to introduce players like Nunez back into the team really slowly, and he's got such quality that you feel like he's only going to get better, and the team are going to benefit from that.
So who can seize the opportunity here this afternoon, as Christian Walton's just forced to scramble one away quickly. He's getting a good run of games now, 13 successive starts, as his opposite number this afternoon, Max Crocombe, has to come out and just mop that one up for Millwall.
Well, he definitely got Taylor out of trouble there, didn't he? Because he was picking up some speed, and I think if he had a few more yards, he would have been in on goal.
Ipswich away from home, 12th best record in the Championship this season. They've done much of their good work at Portman Road. It looks more of a settled side now for Kieran McKenna. As we mentioned, just the 2 changes to the team today, and they both come in forward areas, one of them in force, with George Hurst picking up an injury just 9 minutes into the victory over Sheffield Wednesday 6 days ago. If you just take a look down at the bench as well today, Ben, Ipswich, they've got such a good squad, haven't they? You can see why so many expected them to do well this season, but Kieran McKenna's always been keen to just point to the fact that he's got to get everybody settled into his side, as Leif Davis looks to send that one into the box. Of course, he's going to be a key threat this afternoon, those runs into advanced areas.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, they've got so much experience that they've recruited as well, with your likes of Ashley Young and even Chuba Akpong. He's been away from England and playing his football, but he's such a good person to have on the bench, you know, an option to bring on. And Wes Byrne being out for a year, and how good he was in that year when they won the Championship, and to have someone like him coming back on top of winning 7 games of the last 12 is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it does seem a strange one with Chuba Akpom. Doesn't get too many minutes from Kieran McKenna, as the cross comes in, and a bit of work to do for Christian Walton, who's able to take it in cleanly.
I think that'll be an interesting battle, Crammer versus Philogene today, because Philogene will be looking to exploit that space, but you can see Doherty now almost like naturally picking up the full-back position when he's travelled forward.
An opportunity here on the edge of the area, but the touch was loose. Advantage played by the referee. Ipswich already working themselves into a couple of dangerous positions inside the opening minutes here, but now Millwall looking to come forwards, but that one just had too much on it. Touched off by even Azon, who has a couple of goals to his name so far this season. Led the line in the recent victory over Stoke. Game Ipswich won by a 1-0 when George Hurst was suspended on that occasion.
Again, the kind of riches they've got in their attacking areas is frightening, really, for a team in the Championship. They signed the boy in the summer, didn't they? The Norwegian boy, and he's been probably not hit the ground running like he would like to have. But when you see the signing, the amount of money they paid for him in the summer, and what they've got at their disposal is incredible, really.
He scored more goals for Norway's youth teams than Erling Haaland, so he comes with a bit of hype.
It's not bad, is it?
Player. Not bad at all. He's very keen to stress that he is a different type of player. He, of course, has ambitions of making his way into Stella Solbakken squad for the World Cup.
Of course he's keen to not be compared to Haaland. Why would you want to be?
Want to hide into nothing there, really, aren't you? As Millwall get themselves on the ball. Here's Kramer, who's out at right back today, having started in the middle in the defeat against Blackburn. Three waiting inside the penalty area here. Now Taylor, he's a real imposing player as he looks to make and move forward. Scored a brilliant goal here in the victory over Southampton earlier in the season.
I think you saw that confidence come out of him then when he tried to do a little, tip-tap around the defender, but brilliant recovery from Langstaff there.
Millwall just settling into their stride. Here's Negley. He's still going here, and he's pushed it on to find Jake Cooper, who sends in the cross. It's clipped towards goal, pushed away by Walton. Millwall's first opportunity of the game.
I mean, you had the right centre-back stepping up into the 18-yard box, then you got the left centre-back stepping up into the 18-yard box. It's really interesting, actually. I feel like every time Millwall getting the ball, they're looking to drive forward with the ball, like take the ball up the pitch, not kind of try and pass their way in and around things. They're looking to just drive the ball and take it into the opposition half.
Millwall, who were beaten in their last home game here against Hull City. It was their first defeat in 7 home league games, as we mentioned. This a very tricky place to come to and take anything away from. And I think we know what's coming here as we see both Taylor and Cooper making their way forward. And this is a real facet of Millwall's game. Christian Walton wants to just come out and have a word with the referee. I think he feels that the throw-in should be a bit further down the line. I think that's the point that he's making.
It's interesting, actually, from a throw-in point of view, that you would want to come in at that angle. I suppose you just got to kind of mix it up throughout the game and pose different questions for the keeper to come out and see if he can claim him or punch him or let his defenders deal with the ball.
So this obviously a situation which has perhaps caused Ipswich some concern. Alfie Doughty decided to take it short, but the referee was still sorting out a few things.
Maybe that's all been part of the plan. They're trying to get him some space because he's got a lovely left foot, and to get the ball back and put a nice ball in the box. But
and Tim Robinson back on the scene. And quite the hype, quite the build-up to this throw. If it does result in a long throw, Tim Robinson still wanting to have a word here. And he causes plenty of problems, doesn't he, in the opposition box, Cooper. In comes the throw now. Kramer helps it on, and it's turned away by Philogene. So no real concern on the first long throw situation of the day for Ipswich, but I get the feeling there'll be a few more.
It's going to be crucial, isn't it? Caleb Taylor and Cooper both going up. They're both monsters, so you've got to kind of deal with that initial first ball, and then what they'll be looking to do is people like your Langstaffs will be looking to tap in the knockdowns that fall to them.
Here's Mitchell. Millwall, of course, without a string of central midfield players as they have been for some time. It's been a real problem for Alex Neil. And possession picked up, and a lovely take on the turn as Millwall drive forward once again. Imaku goes down under the challenge from Matsusiwa, and a free kick now in a prime position. Really good play that from Adomo Imaku.
Oh, it was brilliant. Cooper just spotted him in the pocket. He rolled inside from the wing, and as I said before, just driving forward with the ball and making the Ipswich players have to run back rather than be settled in their positions, and he buys the foul really well.
Some contenders for this, of course, for Millwall. Kamil Negley standing behind the ball. Afi Doughty as well. We all know what he's like from set pieces, so a real moment of concern here for Ipswich.
I always think from free kicks, why not have more options on the ball like these guys have got here? They've got 3 players around the ball. If you just leave one person on it, it makes it really predictable for not only the wall but the goalkeeper as well. So it's good to have, like, you know, they've got 2 options over the ball now, so it keeps the keeper guessing.
Afi Doughty moves away. 2 contenders here with Mihailo Ivanovic showing a real interest in this as well. Will it be him or will it be Negley? Negley steps up. It's a disappointing effort.
Interesting there, though. I think you maybe get a bit of a marker because the wall jumped there, and they all kind of turned. So even though he hit the middle of the wall, when the wall jumps like that, it often you have 1 or 2 that turn their back, and it creates gaps in between it. But next time there might be a little gap underneath the wall as well.
Perhaps something that they spotted as well in the build-up to the game, that the Ipswich wall jumps. As throw has plenty of height, not a great deal of distance, as he will manage to keep the attack alive. Doughty looks to clip in the cross, and it's flicked towards goal. No real concern for Walton. Millwall having a good little spell here.
Yeah, they've started the game well, haven't they? And Doherty there, he had the option to pass it, but he put in a lovely ball, and Langstaff just gets a little touch on it, and I'm sure he would have been disappointed with his effort.
Really intriguing game this here today between 2 of the teams in the playoff places. Lovely turn in the middle of midfield, and now Ipswich are on their way. Aslan didn't quite find the ball that he was looking for, and Joe Bryan able to just push it down the line, and Millwall have themselves a free kick. Darnell Furlong just a little too keen there to try and win the ball back.
Yeah, Maku started really bright, hasn't he? He fancies it today, you can tell. Probably didn't have as much roast dinner as me and you, did he?
Discipline for footballers, of course, at this time of year. How difficult is it, Ben, this time of year? If we just take a quick look at this ball into the box, which Ivanovic got himself on the end of.
It is difficult because, you know, everyone around you's drinking, eating, they're indulging, they're having a good time. And it's not like you can't have a good time if you're not drinking and eating, but, you know, everyone's getting drunk, everyone's getting merry, and you kind of like sat there, and you don't want to be on your feet too much as well, because that's crucial. Like, even though I used to find, just to make myself occupied and keep myself out of it, I'd often like do the dishes or something like that, but I'd be on my feet too much.
Cross swung in, and it's another good ball in, and the header flicks onto the roof of the net as Christian Walton was scrambling back there. Millwall keeping the pressure on and asking plenty of questions here.
Yeah, another good ball. Another really good ball. It's a teasing ball. It's a hard one for defenders to get any real purchase on it. And as you see there, Kipre gets a little touch and it goes out for a corner.
Could have gone anywhere from Kipre, as Walton was rushing back to his line. So another set-piece situation for Millwall. And a delivery of depth this time, and it's Taylor's header flicked away by Walton.
What a fantastic save. Taylor, one of the monsters from the back coming up, and Millwall just kind of not only eased their way into this game, they've thought, right, we're going to take it to Ipswich, we've got to take it to Ipswich, and they're doing really well.
Walton called into action here. Taylor rising so high. They've got their hands full, haven't they, today, Ipswich, in these kind of situations. As another ball comes in, Kramer. He didn't make the most of that situation, but Ipswich just having to hang in here.
The thing is, if you try and go toe-to-toe with a team like Ipswich and the quality they've got in their team, you're probably 9 times out of 10 going to lose that battle. So you've got to find ways to win, and don't have any shame in putting 2 big men up for every set piece and being horrible and trying to find a way, and that's what football's all about. You've got to try and find a way to win, and whatever suits you, you've got to do it.
Really interesting, actually, just thinking about when these sides last met here a couple of seasons ago, and Ipswich won by 4 goals to 0, but Kieran McKenna referenced in his thoughts to the media ahead of this game that they really had to get through a sticky opening 15 or 20 minutes before the game became easier for them, and it certainly seems as if they're having their problems early on here. Millwall with their tails up. Can Ipswich ride the storm?
It's interesting you say that. I wonder if he said it in the dressing room before, because subconsciously what that can do to players, that they're going to have a good 15 minutes. Does that instantly put you on the back foot and you automatically go into the game thinking, right, it's going to be a tough 15 minutes? Whereas if you say, right, they're not very good at home, or they're not in a very good spell, let's get after them, it completely changes your mindset, and maybe that's come into their kind of subconscious thinking.
And he did mention as well just how difficult it can be to come here and take on Millwall, a Millwall team hungry to get themselves back to winning ways. Alex Neil saying that it's not too much of a problem for them and they shouldn't think about it too much. They should have the arrogance to believe that they are a side who deserve to be in and around that playoff pack, and they've shown that by being there pretty much all through the season so far.
Yeah, the league table doesn't lie, does it? You know, you've got to draw confidence from that. They've had a really good start to the season. They've got to back themselves and prove to other teams that they are the real deal and they can go and get that playoff spot this season.
Taylor works it to Kramer, who just tries to push it in field. And Davis able to snap in with the challenge.
It's interesting to see Doherty's on this right-hand side. He's obviously the protection for Kramer right back, because Philogene such a threat. So every time the ball's going to turn over, you'll probably find Doherty will be naturally helping out the right back position.
Seems as if we have an issue here for Christian Walter. 2 balls on the pitch. The goalkeeper just doing a bit of tidying up and endearing himself, it seems, to the locals in no rush.
For me, right, it can be a raucous place and the fans can really be, you know, hard on you. And I think if you can kind of keep them quiet, don't do anything stupid to make them want to, you know, berate you or get at you. Just don't waste time and get their backs up.
Don't engage in situations like that, as Ipswich have possession. And Shape works it out wide. That's on, making his move into the middle. Chance to cross it. The ball across, cleared away by Kramer, who was just tucking in from full-back. Matasiwa. Will scoop forwards and Cooper just stoops down to deal with it. Ipswich managing to box Millwall in, and perhaps an opportunity for them to work a long throw into the box. Plenty of Ipswich fans, as you just saw there, here this afternoon.
Yeah, that was a situation where Joe Bryan's just got to set Jake Cooper a little bit softer, because Jake Cooper's trying to sort his feet out to get the ball up the line, and yeah, there's a bit too much on it.
Forwards come O'Shea and Kipre. Kipre having a real run in the team recently. And the throw comes in now. It's Cooper who gets his head to it. Millwall will feel that they can deal with those situations given the size of their defensive unit.
Yeah,
many that are bigger than theirs, are there?
No, not at all, not at all. You've got to find different ways of, you know, play it short, little feet in back, and then put your ball in the box just to move them 2 monsters at the back. But Darnell Furlong's been such a consistent player this season. He's such a good signing, astute signing, because as well, McKenna's obviously identified that throw-ins is going to come into this season, and he's got a massive, he's got a weapon of a throw-in as well.
Well played forwards here, and Ipswich committing plenty of players forward again, and now a free kick in a really dangerous position. Challenge made by Jake Cooper on Marcelino Nunez, who will probably be the most likely contender here for Ipswich from this situation.
Yeah, Nunez he's got that low centre of gravity, and Cooper doesn't really work his feet and sort his feet out. You know, they've got the advantage of the height in both boxes, but at the same time, when you're up against players that are smaller than you, you've got lower centre of gravity, you can turn so much faster than you. You've got to almost work your feet and use your arms rather than lunging for the ball.
Of course, you take a look at that Millwall wall, and it's got both Taylor and Cooper in it, so it'll be a tricky task to get this one up and then down in time. Leave Davis showing some interest in it as well.
I don't think this wall needs to jump, does it?
2 6'5" centre halves, smack bang in the middle of the Millwall wall. And Nunez has shown his ability from set-piece situations since coming to the club. Will it be him, or will it be Leif Davis? It will be Nunez and that Millwall job. Millwall does its job. It diverts behind for an Ipswich corner.
Yeah, I think there was a little jump in there, which makes so much more sense because, as I said before, if you jump properly, you'll always get one or two will turn his back. I mean, Ivanovic a little bit gets fortunate, but yeah, gets his head on the ball.
In comes the corner towards the front post. The header clears the box. Nunez fires one towards goal. Might still be a chance here as the ball's bouncing around inside the Millwall box.
Yeah, Doherty does really well there to stop it on the line as well.
Azon. He looks to send in the cross. The header, well, he had so much to do there. And a straightforward one for Max Crocombe in the Millwall goal. Nice pass there. Ipswich have had more of the ball through the opening 18 minutes of the game. 4 attempts at goal for Millwall so far. 3 from Kieran McKenna's side. His side just having to show their defensive abilities, having asked a few posers of Ipswich early in the game. Situation in the race for promotion so interesting right now as we see the table as it stands. Millwall with the opportunity to jump from 6th to 3rd here this afternoon. Ipswich hoping to close the gap on Middlesbrough in that 2nd automatic promotion place. Possession won back by Kayusta. Now Philogene looking to tiptoe his way into the Millwall box. He plays it to Davis to strike on the turn, takes a big deflection. And Nunez looks to send it back in. And the strike from Azon, and Millwall just get the ball out of harm's way.
You just feel the momentum shifted now towards Ipswich. They're just a bit busier, a bit brighter. Philogene's playing a little bit higher, whereas at the start he was being forced to be in the kind of full-back positions, and they're really starting to come into the game now.
Almost 20 minutes played here at the Den, and a game in which both teams have had their moments, had their periods of pressure.
I like Nunez, though. He's a positive player, isn't he? Every time he gets the ball, he looks to get on the half-turn. He wants to play forward. It's not just play backwards, play safe. He's the one who takes the real risks, and it's a joy to watch.
He made that brave move as well, didn't he, from Norwich. Around £10 million played, the first significant transfer between the two clubs since Andy Marshall back in 2001. There's not too many that make that journey.
Yeah, he's a brave boy, but at the same time, it's a sensible decision. If you look at the trajectory of the clubs in recent years and the potential of going to the Premier League, he's got more opportunities probably with Ipswich than he would have with Norwich, certainly this season anyway.
Ipswich looking for that immediate return to the Premier League after such a difficult campaign last year. Good work by Philogene. To see what immediately comes under pressure. Knew that Ivanovic was over his shoulder. Kayusta up into the Millwall penalty area. Happy to play it patient here, Ipswich. A chance to strike comes now. It's some way off the mark in the end.
That's Kayusta, wasn't it, on the ball? He always finds himself in them positions. I like the way he runs with the ball. He glides with the ball. It's almost like he just glides past people as if they're not even there. And it just opened up for him, the opportunity, and he had to take it on. He does well there to kind of ride the foul that was possibly behind him and get his shot off. He'd just be disappointed, didn't hit the target.
Underneath it, a little too much there, Jens Kayusta. Had Ipswich again this season on a season loan from Napoli. I believe that Ipswich had an obligation to buy him permanently had they avoided relegation last season. Offside flag raised over on the far side.
I think that Millwall defence probably has to play a little bit higher just to kind of The Ipswich players are naturally going to try and get the ball into their feet and not in behind. So if you can leave that space in behind, which they're not really looking for, then it kind of gives you the advantage when the ball goes into their feet.
Here's Negley, and gets the better of Kipray. He just runs through to find Walton. To see what helps it on. Well, they had a good time against Millwall in that promotion-winning season, didn't they, a couple of years ago? As you can see there, winning both home and away against Millwall. Pretty decent record, that. 5 victories in the last 8 meetings.
When they met 2 seasons ago, Ipswich were the surprise package, weren't they? They'd just come up from League One, and they were the team that they were always catching teams out, you know, with their energy and the positive play. But now everyone kind of knows what they're expecting and what they're about. It's harder for Ipswich to break teams down.
That's the point that Kieran McKenna has made about that group of players that he had as well. They'd already been together for a season as they won promotion from League One and then repeated it to get back into the Premier League. But he said it would have to be a bit more patient this year because it's a group of players still getting to know each other and build those connections and partnerships. And well, now as we move towards the second half of the campaign, it looks as if Ipswich are primed to make their move towards the top 2.
Yeah, momentum's massive. When you use that positive momentum promotion from League One and taking them all the way up to the Premier League. But, you know, when the shoe's on the other foot last season, I think they only won a few games and the momentum soon shifted the other way. And you probably saw that at the start of the season when they didn't win probably for their first 4 or 5 games of the season. And you start thinking, whoa, how are they going to get themselves out of this rot? But now, again, momentum's in their favour and they're doing really well. So momentum is the overriding word.
Such a big factor in football, isn't it? We've seen it with... We look at Luton as well, who had those successive relegations. Ipswich had that campaign last year where they picked up their fewest ever points in a league season and kept only 2 clean sheets as well, as Philogene picks up possession. Leif Davis takes a tumble. Game allowed to go on, and Crammer able to step in, and then Langstaff with the challenge as well. And referee Tim Robinson pulls play back to penalise Macaulay Langstaff.
I think he can be a little bit unfortunate. He's made a genuine attempt to play the ball. He does go over a little bit. Does he win the ball? I'm not sure. But I don't know. With the threshold of the fouls this season, you almost feel like, I don't know. Yes, it can go one way or the other. And I think, you know, the referees probably made the right decision in the end.
So again, free kick in a pretty decent spot here for Ipswich Town. And that big Millwall wall gathers once again.
It's a little bit further out, this one, isn't it? But he's had a sight at goal, so see if he can get it over the wall this time.
A few yards further back this time, but will it be Nunez who gets to have a go, or will it be Leif Davis? Max Crocombe just organising those in front of him. 14th successive start now in the Millwall goal for Max Crocombe. Nunez once again, and it's a relatively straightforward save for Crocombe, who took it in cleanly.
Yeah, interesting. He chose to reverse that one. I mean, that's such a hard technique. You have to almost get loads of power on that ball, and as you see there, he didn't get enough on it because it bounced before the keeper could catch it.
Here's Langstaff, big afternoon for him. A rare start. Much of his game time this season has come off the bench.
It's interesting to see him playing that almost that 10 role. Maybe he's been brought into the team to be more of a team player out of possession, and when he's in possession, almost retain the ball and keep it simple rather than playing on the shoulder of the defender.
Here he is on the ball once again. Now Mitchell. Possession turned over at Mitchell. Managing to get his body in the way, and Millwall can look to build once again. Here's Crumb. This looks to get into these kind of areas. His cross takes a significant deflection, and it will present Millwall with another opportunity from a corner.
I think Crammer, when he gets the ball, he's always positive. He always wants to get forward. And it's interesting because he's played in centre-back. Maybe he almost feels like when he gets in them areas of the pitch, he's got the freedom and the licence to go and you know, make the mistakes, try and run at someone and lose the ball. But Leif Davis is so good going forward. He's often questionable defending sometimes. So, you know, you've got to fancy yourself.
Cooper, the mischief maker in the box once again as the corner comes in. Walton comes through the crowd to just knuckle it away. A chance though, Doughty to send another cross in. Walton has made his mind up early and he comes and takes a confident claim.
Brilliant. That's exactly what you want as a defender, especially when you've got two giants up there for Millwall. You want your keeper to come over and take the pressure off and make the decision for you and just come and catch the ball like he did there.
Here's Philogene. Aidan Philogene still going here. Rolls it to his right. Opportunity perhaps here for Ipswich. Not the best of balls though, and it allows Cooper to come and deal with the situation.
Yeah, Philogene showing his quality there, but he come up against a brick blue wall of Millwall, didn't he? He almost saw there's no way through, and you know, he makes the right decision there to pass the ball. But Jake Cooper reads the pass down the line really well and deals with the situation.
8 goals for Jayden Philogene this season, but as we've mentioned, they've all come at Portman Road. He scored in their last couple of home games. He got the only goal, a brilliant goal as well, really early on in the victory over Stoke, and was on the score sheet against Sheffield Wednesday as well. Can he start delivering those kind of numbers on the road as well?
Remember that was a hat-trick against Sheffield United earlier in the season. He was devastating, wasn't he? The defender didn't know where to go because he'd take him on the inside, take him on the outside, and scored a couple of rockets as well.
Millwall on the front foot, but that cross doesn't travel too far. Ball flick forwards, and Athon looks to get there first. Both Taylor and Athon end up on the ground.
Yeah, Taylor does really well there. He's probably not the favourite to win the ball, but he does just enough to put him off.
So pause in play here. So Negley down on the ground, and Tim Robinson perhaps just taking a bit of advice from his assistant, or maybe his fourth official here. A few words for both Leif Davis and Camille Negley, it seems.
I missed what went on there, actually.
I think Tim Robinson was certainly seeking some help from Paul Howard, his fourth official. Good enough the ball skirmish between the two, and Leif Davis offers an apology. Well, this is what happened just a few moments ago. If you just look at the top of your screen, it must be quite strong, Leif Davis. Didn't seem to put too much into that, did he?
I mean, his hands were up around his neck. They weren't, you know, weren't around his neck, but he did push him a little bit higher. But at the same time, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see people go down that easy. But at the same time, keep your hands to yourself and just be sensible.
Don't give the referee a decision to make. But Millwall now with an opportunity to thump this ball forward once again. Doughty sends it too far forward, and it's very easy for Christian Walton to come and deal with it. To see what picks it up on the edge of his box. We saw him lose possession in that situation in Ipswich's defeat to Oxford a few weeks ago. Doughty looks to cross, it's dealt with by Kipre.
Yeah, Matchday had a tough task coming into this club off the back of what Sammy Morsi had done at the club, and not only was he a fantastic player, he was a leader as well within the group, and he would, you know, in tough situations like coming to places like this, he would be the ones that you'd look to, and they'd get you through the fight, you know.
It looks as if a long throw is going to come in from Doughty. He's not really getting too much distance on those so far this afternoon, and Ipswich have been able to cope with those moments in the game as Brian sends it forward. Mitchell just a little too tenacious in the eyes of the referee. And Ipswich not looking to hang about here as they look to burst forwards quickly. Philogene streaking forwards on this near side. The challenge comes in, and it was good defensive work in the end as McAteer couldn't make the most of that foray forward.
Yeah, brilliant from Imaku, yeah, because he could have fouled him as he ran across his path, but he didn't. He didn't give up on the situation, and absolutely fantastic. That's what you want your wingers to do, not only provide going forward, but to help you defensively like he has there.
Millwall crowd certainly starting to warm into the afternoon. Successive starts now for Domo Umaku, who started in the defeat at Blackburn, having come on as a substitute and scored here in that defeat against Hull a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he's exciting, isn't he? Gets you off your seat. He wants to, you know, early in the game, he found himself in the pocket and ran all the way to the edge of the opposition box and won the free kick. And yeah, he's the sort of player that wants the ball into feet, and to get out, his first thought is to get out of the defender.
There hasn't been too much work for either goalkeeper to do in terms of keeping out obvious goal-scoring opportunities. Ipswich have had 8 attempts at goal so far in this game. Continue to have the better share of the ball as well.
Yeah, I mean, early on, Millwall had the ball in Ipswich's box, didn't they, a few times? And as you say, no keeper's really been tested yet, but at least they're both kind of being positive and trying to get the ball in the box and make things, trying to find ways to create opportunities.
You see there the 8 attempts that Ipswich have had, double the number we've seen from Millwall, but Millwall have hit the target more times. There's perhaps been an accusation put towards Ipswich that they're not ruthless enough in the final third. Game goes on as Davis takes charge of possession, has a heavy touch. Rama works it down the line. Ivanovic just leans in and just pokes one towards the front post.
The referee's telling him there he was going to give a foul if the play wasn't in the keeper's hands. I think this probably is a foul. He does really well. He makes the run, but he just cuts across and doesn't really play the ball first. He plays the man first, but he'll be disappointed that he ultimately ends up kicking the floor rather than the ball and not doing anything with it.
4 goals for him so far this season. Mihailo Ivanovic, Millwall's second top scorer, and they are currently missing their leading marksman this season, Femi Aziz, who's got half a dozen goals. Big loss for Millwall, isn't it?
It is a massive loss, again, because when he plays out on this right wing, he just first thought is to drive forward with the ball, and obviously all them goals, you can't replace them goals. And Ivanovic is trying his best, and he had a good season last season, but he scores an array of goals, Ivanovic, as well. He's good in the air.
Cross comes in and it's cleared away by Furlong, as again Kramer just took the opportunity to drive Millwall forwards down this near side. Ten minutes to go until half-time as Cooper pushes it forwards and finds Imaku. Just dropped in behind, but just had too much on it.
It's interesting because Millwall are almost like vacating the middle of the pitch. It's almost like they've got 4 or 5 at the back, and they've got 4 or 5 on the front line as well. They're not really looking to play through the middle too much, whereas Ipswich are identifying that, and they're sitting a little bit deeper.
O'Shea gives it away cheaply. Here's Negley. Might just have a go here. He does indeed, but it's straight at Christian Walton.
A player of his quality, you've got to back yourself there. I was almost saying to myself, go on, hit it, have a go. It's worth an effort, but unfortunately it wasn't too much trouble for Walton.
Didn't quite catch it as he would have wanted to, as Millwall look to keep the pressure on here. Mitchell finds himself in a tight spot, but he manages to work it on to find Imaku. Ivanovic waiting in the middle. Langstaff and Negley in there as well. It's still Imaku. The cross comes in. Cut out at the front post by O'Shea.
Brilliant from O'Shea, because as a defender there, you've got to protect that front post area. That's the dangerous area, because if it goes past you, I know Walton, it was probably going into Walton's hands there, but you could always have a striker in behind you who's just ready to tap it in. But Imaku there, that's what you want to see from your winger. Just a bit of positivity every time you get the ball, and you're almost sending the message to your fullback saying, you're not in for an easy afternoon. I'm gonna get at you every opportunity I've got.
And again, throwing in a position of potential here for Millwall. Doughty sends it in, and he's just climbing on the back there a little, wasn't he, Furlong?
He was. It's not a foul, there's nothing in it, but as you said before about Doherty's throw-ins, they're not really getting much distance on it.
Cramer can't quite bring it under control. Azon just being held up here, and Cramer, well, he's not happy. Doesn't feel that he did enough there to give away the free kick. Maybe one that was just bought a little by the Ipswich forward.
He'll know there as a defender in that area. Just do not foul him. Do whatever you can just to not foul him. Make him kick the ball out for another throw-in, or back up the pitch into your left back. But just a frustrating foul, frustrating all round. The fans can feel it. I mean, just get your hands off him and leave him to it.
I'm not quite sure that the foul took place where the ball's been spotted either. Christian Walton's managed to gain himself 7 or 8 yards there.
He's trying his best to wind this crowd up this afternoon, isn't he?
He knows in a few minutes' time it'll be half-time and he'll be stood in front of his Ipswich fans.
Yes,
then easier for him down that end.
He'll probably be more relieved, yeah.
He does seem to be offering a bit of bait this afternoon, doesn't he? The Ipswich keeper, as Kayuste assesses his options here. Tricky place to come, but the kind of place where Ipswich, if they do have aspirations of the top two, will feel that they need to come and pick up 3 points and close that gap on Middlesbrough, and just a bit of pressure on them ahead of their game.
Oh, absolutely. At the same time, you know, if you can't win a game, it's the old saying, don't lose it. But just to keep the momentum that they've got. They're on a good run. They play good football. They all know what their roles are within the team. And, I mean, it is a tough place to come, but still got a long way to go in this game.
Close the gap on Middlesbrough, who are in action at home to Blackburn this afternoon. Here's Kipre.
As the game goes on, though, the onus might be more on Millwall to come out more and be a bit more imposing on Ipswich, and that might open up gaps for Ipswich to then take advantage of. And as we spoke about earlier, the quality they've got on the bench to bring them on and unlock the Millwall defence.
The likes of Chuba Akpom, Wes Burns, who we mentioned as well, who's been out for so long, Jack Clark, Sindre Eggerly as well. Quite the options for Kieran McKenna to make the tweaks that he feels necessary.
Oh, it's a stacked bench, isn't it? Even the quality in defence with Jacob Greaves on the bench. And yeah, he must turn around at times and think, oh, I've got some options here.
The envy of many a manager at this level, what Kieran McKenna has to work with. He's spoken this season as well about the responsibility of those that are starting games, where if the going is tough and they can't forge a way ahead, to almost lay the table for those who come on and have them in a position where those substitutes can come on and win games, as opposed to trying to level things up and work their way back into a match. As Philigine's able to advance here, it's still Jaden Philogene. Can't quite take the ball with him. He might get another opportunity. Crocombe able to just boot the ball away.
I mean, Philogene had total control of the situation and just took his eye off it and mistouched it, didn't he?
Players still forwards here, and there's McAteer. Kayuste has had one go at goal already this afternoon, but he opts to work it left to find Leif Davis. He pushes one into the penalty area, and again it's another foray into the final third for Ipswich, which doesn't lead to anything.
Ipswich defend the box really well. They get numbers within, you know, they talk about getting them inside the game and being inside the 2 goalposts, because that's ultimately the most dangerous place for Ipswich to be. But going back to that Philogene opportunity, he had like total control of the situation. The defenders in that situation thinking, poor, I'm in trouble here. He can go right, he can go left, and luckily he took a poor touch for the defender, and he did well to defend it.
Millwall will be in action here in 3 days' time when they take on Bristol City. That one very likely to be a spiky affair, given what happened when the two sides went head-to-head just a few weeks ago. Ipswich with another tough test for them in 3 days' time. They're going to be away at the league leaders, Coventry.
It's a great one for them to go and put a marker down, isn't it? And let Coventry know that, you know, we are over your shoulder. We've been there and done it. It's not going to be easy for you to see out this season. So they'll almost be licking their lips. But first of all, they've got to get the result here.
Coventry side, who many thought were far and away on the way to promotion, but got points in 3 of their last 4 games. Athon's gone down there under the challenge from Cooper.
Yeah, they beat Coventry recently as well, didn't they? 3-0. So that's one where Coventry will literally. I mean, Coventry will be at home in that game, but they'll be looking, thinking, oh, they didn't give us a good game. They didn't give us an easy game last time. We couldn't score past them, which they've ultimately scored past pretty much every team they've played this season. So, yeah, I think Ipswich will be going there, probably looking to not only draw the game, but win the game.
So, good idea Ipswich will have over the next few days of where their season's going, with back-to-back games against teams of the calibre of Millwall, and then that game against Coventry to end 2025.
But going back to the game that Millwall have got coming up as well, I can't imagine it'll be a very quiet stadium that afternoon, can it?
Yeah, I've got a feeling that one could be a rather lively affair. Incredible scenes that transpired during that previous meeting between the two. Edging towards half-time here. It's Boxing Day lunchtime, and neither side able to make a breakthrough so far. Here's Furlong. O'Shea into Kayusta and gives it back to his captain. Nunes has just made a burst forwards here, and he brings it down wonderfully well as well. Under pressure now from Mitchell, who concedes the corner.
Yeah, it's a great run from Nunes. It's Furlong who played the ball, I think, in behind, but sometimes that ball can be the best ball in football, where you just spin it in behind and get the defenders running back towards their own goal, and you harrying them and you know, making runs to break the line. And yeah, he's won his team a corner there just by making that positive run.
Forward comes Kipre. Shea forward as well. And Ipswich find a way ahead in the final minute of the first half. Rock of players around the penalty spot. Cooper wins the header, but a chance to fizz it back in. Flicked away to the edge of the box, where it's retrieved by Davis onto Philogene. Davis on the scamper, on the overlap. He looks to cross it. Ball towards the back post. Infringement spotted by the referee. Just a bit of a push there as Brian dealt with the ball into the box.
Yeah, Joe Bryan does really well there, but that's the first time this half we've seen Leif Davis overlap Philogene, and you see the outcome you get from it. As I was saying, the first 15 minutes of the game, Millwall were forcing them back, and now they're kind of opening up and gaining the momentum to go forward themselves.
It's been such a profitable avenue, hasn't it, over the years? Leif Davis getting himself forward, approaching 150 games for Ipswich now, and he has 40 assists for them in that time. No surprise they tied him down to a new contract last month, was it?
And also, I'm pretty sure this time last year we were talking about an England call-up for him, possibly, because we were lacking in them areas as well. So, yeah, he's fantastic going forward. I think there's always that question mark defensively, but for Philogene, it must be so nice knowing that I can take the defender on the inside, on the outside, and sometimes I've got Leif Davis coming up on the outside as well. So, yeah.
It's a real opposite problem for opposition fullbacks, isn't it, who need help from the player ahead of them in the team to track back. Millwall now coming forwards, and need to see what manages to get something on it, and he helps his side out with the header away. The offside flag goes up, and that might just be that for the first half here.
Yeah, Imaku again got the ball, positive, took it inside. Probably disappointed with himself with the effort on goal, but he's been really positive as well this afternoon.
Well, first half in which both teams have had their moments. Ipswich having plenty of attempts at goal, but there is the half-time whistle from referee Tim Robinson. Corley Langstaff into the Millwall side this afternoon. A rare start for him. He's come as close as anyone to breaking the deadlock in Millwall colours. But Ipswich just applying the pressure at the end of the half, but unable to find a way to get themselves in front either. So it is all square here at half-time between two of the top six. It's Millwall 0, Ipswich 0. So welcome back to the Den. This early Boxing Day kickoff between Millwall and Ipswich. Ipswich coming into the day in third place. Those fans who would have been up so early this morning, hoping that they can see their side close the gap on Middlesbrough. And we're in second place right now, and I think, Ben, the Ipswich fans would be relatively content with what they've seen from their side, knowing that they've got the star-studded bench, perhaps the best bench in the Championship, waiting to be unleashed by Kieran McKenna.
Yeah, they'll be encouraged by what they've seen as well, the last probably 10-15 minutes of the half as well. Nunez is kind of getting himself in the game a bit more, Philogene as well, and as I said there, Leif Davis overlapping and getting himself involved in the attacking play more as well.
We can give you an update from the other game in the Championship this afternoon, where just a few minutes ago we told you that Derby were leading by a goal to nil. Derby down to 10 players, and Birmingham have just got themselves back on level terms. With 25 minutes to play, Jack Robinson with the goal. So that one very well poised as it reaches its conclusion. One of the great days, this, of the English football calendar. Everybody coming out the day after Christmas to see their side. I spoke to you before, Ben, about the challenges that faces players. Have you ever played in a game that's kicked off early on a Boxing Day?
No, I haven't, no. And it always seems like, it feels like the game kicks off so late because, as well, this time of year it's dark and all them sort of things as well. But you want to just get the game out of the way, and you want to be able to enjoy your evening Boxing Day, because you've, as I said before, you've been so disciplined Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, leading up to it. It's almost like, right, let's try and relax now, even though it's for a few days till your next game. But yeah,
with the away games on Boxing Days, that tend to involve the away side staying in a hotel the night before the game as well, so you get even less time with your family on Christmas Day.
Yeah, you know, you get, sometimes it'll be right, we'll give you Christmas Day off training, but make sure you go and do a run or a cycle or something. But then in the evening you have to head your way down to the hotel, the team hotel, and have food together again. So as I said before, it's not about overindulging on the wrong sorts of foods. Have your good lunch and then meet up for your dinner in the evening.
I'm sure there's a few that have got sore heads this morning amongst our crowd here this afternoon. Millwall, they've posed problems for Ipswich, haven't they, at times in this game, particularly early in the game. Can they find a way to force themselves into the lead in this second period? It feels like a big day for Millwall, just given the fact that they haven't won in 3 now and came into this game today off the back of losing back-to-back games as well. Yeah,
it does, but they started the game well. They've got to take positivity from that, and they know what they are. They know how they can hurt Ipswich. It's just trying to get themselves into them situations and positions to allow themselves to do that. As I said about the two boys coming up from the back, they're a handful, and any sort of throw-in opportunity to put the ball in the box with them in it, I'm sure they'll take it.
It's been a really good season so far, hasn't it, for Millwall? You then add into the fact that they've lost so many players to injury as well, but they've been up towards that top 6 all season long. Now just the question as to whether Alex Neil and his side can sustain it as Ipswich make their way back out here.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Millwall have been a team where the last 3 or 4 years they've kind of been teetering on the edge of getting in the playoffs, and they've definitely established themselves as a championship team. It's just now, how can we make that next step? And Alex Neil, as you say, has been there and done it with Norwich, and I'm sure they'll be looking to him as well and thinking, right, how do we do this, and what can we do to do that with the January window coming up?
I did say, Alex Neil, a few weeks ago that a lot of the foundations for the club were built last year and that they finished the end of last season really strongly. So the expectation levels within the group of players and the coaching staff has been raised, not just from the supporters. The Millwall players now making their way back out here. It's such a tough time of year with the games coming thick and fast, but a real chance for a few to really make their move in the league table. But perhaps also the fear that with everything so tight in the Championship as well, if it doesn't go well for you, you can be a long way down looking up.
Yeah, of course. You've got to look at it in the right mindset, really, as well. This is a time of year where the teams that have the most professional players, the most disciplined players, will get you up that league table with the games in such a short period, and the points that are on offer are there for you. So you've got to make the most of that, be professional, show what togetherness you've got as a team, and hopefully that stands you in good stead come the end of the season.
So all set to get back underway here at the Den. Ipswich, it's fair to say, got better as the first half wore on. No changes made by either manager at half-time, so we're back underway here. been an interesting battle, hasn't it, between Leif Davis and Tristan Kramer. Both of them like to get forward. I think we find with Ipswich sometimes that Leif Davis does fly forward, which gives the opportunity to the opposition when they turn the ball over to work the ball into that space and try and capitalise.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where I think you've got to have Matusiwa, who kind of, he should be identifying that Furlong is probably the less attacking fullback and Leif Davis is the more attacking fullback. So he should be thinking, right, whenever he goes forward, I've got to kind of fill in that slot and protect him. But yeah, they both offer a lot going forward, and it's exciting to watch.
Here's McAteer. Looks to clip one towards the back post. Kramer gets his head to it. He's able to just push it forwards, but it's a bit of a wasteful use of possession, and Kipre on the ball for Ipswich.
I mean, even seeing Kipre in this position now, you never saw him in this position in the first half, especially early on. I mean, the ref's got in the way there, but genuine mistake. But that's encouraging for Ipswich fans to see him in that position and thinking, right, let's go and take the game to Millwall now. And also you've got McAteer on the wing, who hasn't really been involved in the first half, and early on getting a couple of touches in and putting the ball in the box, and again, that's encouraging for Ipswich fans to see.
It did feel as if Casey McAteer was just on the fringes of the game a little in the first half. This is his first start in 5 games here this afternoon. Coming into the team today to take the place of Sindre Egeli. There's Nunez. Here is McAteer once again. Can he make something happen? Ipswich have got 5 waiting for a cross. It's looped up towards the back post. Kramer gets there just as Leif Davis was looking to line one up.
Yeah, Kramer does really well there because he doesn't know what's behind him.
Kipre with the strike. It might have just come off his own man there.
Again, Kipre in that positive, encouraging position. It looks like they may have changed the formation a little bit. They've gone a bit more heavy on the left-hand side, pushed Leif Davis up higher, and almost pulled Furlong down a bit, and that's allowing McAteer to get the ball wider as well, which is, you know, could have got the ball there maybe, but it's a lot more encouraging for Ipswich fans to see.
Ipswich looking to assert themselves on Millwall at the start of this second half, as Furlong just took a bit of a loose touch there, but his team are able to retain possession.
Yeah, Leif Davis diffused the situation really well. The ball come into him. It's a bit of a bad pass actually into him, and he does really well to take the weight off the pass and get the ball out to Kipre.
Can they find a way through at the start of this second half? Just to think of the role of Macaulay Langstaff in the game. We'll come back to that in a moment as we see the yellow card out of the pocket. And referee Tim Robinson. It's Jaden Philogene who's going to have his name taken. He was just stopping the restarting of the game. Thumbs up from the player who acknowledges what he was getting up to. But I was just going to make reference to Macaulay Langstaff because, of course, a lot of eyes on him today. This rare start that he's got, just 5 passes attempted in the first half.
That does surprise me, actually, because he looked like he retained the ball really well. But for me, as a striker, this is where you want to see him, running off the back line a bit more, playing on the shoulder, causing a nuisance.
Causing a nuisance, he was there, occupying O'Shea and Kipre, but it's a situation which didn't run on for Millwall.
Whereas in the first half, you saw him probably playing a bit deeper and getting the ball, and every pass was backwards rather than forwards.
It seems as if a little tweak by Kieran McKenna at half-time, and maybe one from Alex Neil as well. Here's O'Shea, just pushes it into Kayusta, who initially found himself in a bit of room. Mitchell comes across.
You also notice, I don't know if you noticed as well, but Nunez is definitely trying to get a little bit deeper, trying to drop a bit deeper on this right-hand side, which is probably freeing up McAteer as well.
Here is McAteer in possession. Does feel as if Ipswich are getting him into the game a little more after the restart. Across to Kipre. It's 1 point picked up for Ipswich in their last 3 away games. He's on battling away, and he manages to flick it on to find Philogene. Can't find a way past Kramer, who stands his ground well.
Yeah, Kramer does really well there, but he's got Leif Davis backing him up again in that more attacking position. Kramer does really well because Philogene looked like he was going to go on the inside and then tried to take him on the outside, and he just gets his body in really well and deals with the situation.
I think Philogene knew there the only way he was ever going to come out on top in that situation was to get up early and hope for the best, but just a little too keen and gave away the free kick.
Got to be a little bit careful though. Picked up that silly yellow card, and then if you start accumulating fouls with 40 minutes to go, it can soon add up, and then you can find yourself getting taken off purely because you're one more foul away from getting another booking.
Now in which Ipswich have had 60% possession. Also possession side under Kieran McKenna, and they can look to come forwards again here. Bit of grass to run into for Furlong. Imaku tracking back with him. Now McAteer up against Bryant. Weaves his way inside. Casey McAteer going for goal. Jake Cooper in the way.
Yeah, brilliant. You see McAteer definitely come into this game more and more, but I just wanted to highlight there the run from Furlong, which was fantastic. It took 2 Millwall players away, which then allowed McAteer to come inside and get the shot off, which I don't think many people really realise how important that selfless run is for you. You know you're not going to get the ball, but he's drawn two Millwall defenders to run with him, which allows McAteer to come inside.
Dara O'Shea there not happy as the free kick was... free kick was given against him, and it just gives Millwall the opportunity here to launch it forwards. It's a free kick which they've worked short. Doherty will now send it towards the end of the edge of the Ipswich box. The header on, thumped away to safety. Game that is very interestingly poised here at the Den. Two teams with ambitions of promotion.
It was good from Doherty, though, the free kick, because Millwall have almost become a little bit too predictable in the way that they try to approach this game. So to take that quick free kick, and why not try and catch them out? Whether it does catch one person out and you get your opportunity off the back of that, but try not to be too predictable. Yes, be predictable at times, because that's what Ipswich don't want. They don't want you to get the big men up, but at the same time, don't be too predictable.
Just crashes off Leif Davis.
I'd like to see Nagali get into the game a little bit more. He did really well in the first half. We got that shot off and came inside on his left foot, but he has the quality to dictate games. You just want to see him maybe get on the ball a little bit more, you know?
Had that one opportunity, didn't he, in the first half? Bit of a tame effort from the edge of the box. Pretty good record, though. Millwall have on recent Boxing Day fixtures, as you can see there. They've lost just one of their last 7. That defeat coming against Norwich last year. Billy Mitchell snapping in with the challenges. Left Nunez down on the ground as the game goes on.
It looked like a good tackle from here.
Now Tim Robinson has stopped the game, much to the displeasure of the home supporters. In fact, apologies, it is Azon who's down, and he seems in a bit of pain right now as well, but back up on his feet.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I'd like to see that again. It didn't look like there was too much in it. It definitely looked like he got the ball anyway, whether he got the ball first and then the man, but as you'll see here, it's a fair, he's got his eyes on the ball. He's only got his eyes on the ball. Again, from an Ipswich point of view, you might be frustrated here. Look, the crowd are only going to get up, the team are only going to get energy from that, and it's only going to allow Millwall to get into this game, because the first opening 9-10 minutes it's been all Ipswich.
Azon wasn't happy that he was told that he's just got to leave the pitch for a short period of time. A firm but certainly fair challenge going in from Billy Mitchell.
For teams like Millwall, you've got this atmosphere and how much they can intimidate you. You've got to use that to your advantage. It almost becomes, you know, the proverbial 12th man, which everyone talks about. And if you can try not to allow that to happen as best you can, don't let it happen. But Ipswich players, one or two of them this game, have kind of really got Millwall's backs up a bit.
Bristol City will find out all about that in 3 days' time when they come here. I don't think the Millwall supporters will need too much hyping up ahead of
I think just them coming out will be enough, won't it? They won't have to do anything to get this crowd up on that day.
Should be a very lively night in 3 days' time. What a big game for Millwall as they look to keep themselves in the top 6 of the Sky Bet Championship. Azon still waiting to be invited back onto the field of play. Ipswich now back up to their full 11 as Walton sends it long. He's on the target and he's not going to get much change out of Cooper, you feel, in those kind of situations.
Yeah, that's what Millwall want. They want you to lump balls up the top of the pitch so that Cooper and Taylor can just eat them up.
And Staff just hoisting it forwards. Ivanovic is going to have a go first time, and Walton scrambling across there. Perhaps in the ideal position there, the Ipswich keeper, and he just managed to push that ball away.
Yeah, as the ball's in the air, you're thinking, go on, have a go. Why not have a go? And I didn't think he caught it as well as he could, but Walton seemed to make harder work of it than I thought.
One-time challenge, or it seemed that way, went in on halfway. The free kick awarded this time for Ipswich Town.
Yeah, again, it didn't look like much. It looked like he made a genuine effort for the ball, and he won the ball.
Philogene cross to O'Shea. Now Furlong. He flights one forward, and here's McAteer. Can he pick someone out? And he got something on it, Azon, but it didn't quite work out for Ipswich, and the Millwall fans just teasing Azon a little. But again, we can see the influence that McAteer can have in the game.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It makes a great run in behind. Furlong finds him again with that ball he found Nunes with in the first half, and he does everything right. Azon gets across the first man, which is the difficult bit as such. Then you've got to get the right touch on it, and he plays a 1-2 too many times, I think, with the Millwall players.
Couldn't quite sort his feet out, could he, as that one was fizzed in towards him at the front post.
No, but he wasn't really involved in the first half too much as well, and now you're seeing him get a little bit more involved. I suppose he's been told, you've got 10-15 minutes to book your ideas up, whereas we've got plenty of options on the bench.
In comes the cross, and it's flicked towards goal by Imaku. Certainly now the period in the game where you would expect both Alex Neil and Kieran McKenna to be considering their options off the bench.
Yeah, definitely. You get around the hour mark, that's when you're kind of looking over your shoulder and thinking, right, what can you do as a manager to help us win this game, because things aren't quite working out on the pitch.
The first time that O'Shea has given the ball away cheaply here this afternoon. Langstaff. Heavy touch there, allowed the challenge to come in from Atusiwa. Then Langstaff on the turn.
He's offside, wasn't he, I think? Yeah, it's a lovely little ball from Doherty, and Langstaff's in that position where he would rather be, I think, on that back line, looking to threat the Ipswich defence. And yeah, I'm sure he was probably a yard or two offside when the ball was played.
So all about his instincts there, didn't we? Was he actually offside? It's very tight indeed.
I mean, we can make a decision a little bit quicker than VAR can at times, but he did look just offside, but the linesman's got better eyesight than me, that's for sure.
The flag was raised sharply. There is a game to be won here right now. Both teams still looking to make the breakthrough. McAteer has 3 runners ahead of him. Eustace helps it on. Kramer flicks it away. Ball bouncing around, and Eustace gets there ahead of Mitchell, but now perhaps a chance for Millwall to break forwards. Ball from Negley. It's allowed Matasiwa to step in. Now Philogene to Davis. Still Leif Davis, who just clips in the cross. McAteer will look to keep it alive. Now Furlong. Switch happy to play it patient. Nunez spots the run of Kayuste, who just struggles to bring it under control.
They're definitely getting more runners forward this half, Ipswich. It's almost like it was the game plan. First half, just make sure we don't do anything daft and find ourselves behind. But now they've really felt their way into the game, and they look like the team that are going to go and take it to Millwall.
We've reached the hour mark here this afternoon. How long until Kieran McKenna uses his options on the bench? He has plenty of them. Of chances in the first half for Mihajlo Ivanovic for Millwall, but they haven't created too much to really give Ipswich any kind of concern. O'Shea comes across to try and tidy that one up. Langstaff in with the challenge, and he timed it to perfection. O'Shea, though, able to recover.
Yeah, O'Shea does really well there. Initially, Langstaff does brilliant. He's been doing that all game, really. He's been a proper team player, and he's put the effort in. Work. A striker you wouldn't necessarily always see, but O'Shea does really well there to not foul him after he wins that ball back.
So Taylor comes forward, as too does Cooper. And Alfie Doughty find a bit more distance on one of these long throws.
Surely the defenders have realised that the ball's not going that far and they can come in a bit closer and get a flick on. As I say, he throws it a little bit further this time. So
that one travelling over Kipre. It just seemed to find a little bit more on that long throw.
It's interesting seeing Doughty play midfield as opposed to fullback, because in that year when Luton went up, he was fantastic. He was so good, and even in the Premier League that year, he was so effective and so, you know, got so much output from him because of his balls into the box. But last season, it just seemed like, you know, the year after being in the Premier League, maybe he took his foot off the gas a little bit, and then, you know, now he's a fantastic player. He's found himself playing midfield, which is no easy feat.
Here's Crammer. He finds Mitchell. Now Bryant. On to Emakhu. Can he get the better of Furlong? He goes down holding his head. The referee, Tim Robinson, waves it away, and it's an opportunity now for Ipswich to try and surge forward, but it gets away from Kayusta. Emakhu back up on his feet.
Only just offside, I think. I think he does catch him in the face, but his head's in an unnatural position. It's a bit low, you know, so you can't kind of say that his arms are flailing and whatever. But again, it's nice to see that Emakhu gets the ball and he wants to be positive every time he gets the ball. He's thinking, right, Furlong, I'm going to try and get at you every time I get it.
Kind of player, isn't he, that perhaps just offers something a little bit different for Millwall as well, the ability to break open a defence with one of those runs forward. Here's Philogene, though, for Ipswich. You might just have a go. Philogene with the strike. It almost got away from Crocombe.
Yeah, you've seen them flying a few times this season already, haven't you? And why not take it on? It's good to see him come into the game more and more now, Philogene, but his mate on the opposite wing, McAteer, seems to be the one who's causing real problems.
Have been favouring the right-hand side so far this afternoon, Ipswich Town. 39% of their attacks have come down that side compared to just 26 on the other. But here's Philogene drifting into the central position, but in doing so also drifting into traffic with Billy Mitchell in the way.
Oh, he does fantastic there. He's surrounded by three players, and how he manages to keep that ball is absolutely brilliant.
75% possession since half-time, Kieran McKenna's side.
But they still haven't really posed a massive threat on Crocombe's goal, have they? It's, you know, they've been in possession with 25%, but still haven't really looked like being in too much danger. And Emakhu again gets the ball and does really well to buy a foul for his team.
They've had so little of the ball, Millwall, but they have had 2 attempts on target since half-time, and Ipswich haven't had a single one yet as the young teenage talent Sindre Egerli comes on. Certainly the kind of player that can open the lock here for Ipswich, and they're going to make another change as well. Chuba Akpom is going to come on. We see McAteer and even Azont, the 2 players being replaced as Kieran McKenna shuffles his pack.
Yeah, it surprised me to see McAteer come off. He's been the bright spark in this second half, but as you say, they're stacked on the bench, and why not, if one thing's not working, why not try another thing?
Millwall here with Crammer. He just flicks one across goal, and the effort from Emakhu just didn't really get his knee over the top of it.
Crammer does so well there. The ball looks like it's going to go out of play, and he does well to keep the ball alive, but also not allow the keeper to come and catch the ball in an unfortunate situation.
Kramer just keeping the attack alive, and Imaku just couldn't keep his effort down.
Yeah, he does what every winger should do, lock in the back post.
To Siwa, given the ball there in a tight situation. Akpom tries to have his, in fact it was Philogene that it got away from. Interesting that Chuba Akpom now comes on. Just the one goal so far this season since coming to Ipswich, and it came 6 minutes after he came off the bench in the victory at Hull back at the tail end of November.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk in the summer about him going to Birmingham, and then he chose Ipswich over Birmingham, and it just hasn't so far worked out for him. But, you know, we're only halfway through a season. He's coming to a team that's been in the Premier League and relatively settled in certain positions. So, you know, it's still only half a season. You can't write someone off just because they haven't done it quite yet.
Of course, he had that incredible season for Middlesbrough, didn't he, 3 years ago, when he scored 28 championship goals, the top scorer in the division, the EFL Championship Player of the Year. Ipswich will hope that they can get plenty of goals from him as we approach the second half of the campaign. Ivanovic battling away, he finds Imaku. Imaku twisting, turning, and just goes down inside the penalty area. Could he have got a strike away, perhaps? Egeli now finds himself under pressure, and he gets the free kick for the challenge made by Alfie Doughty. But how good an opportunity was that a few moments ago for Imaku?
Yeah, he does well. Again, his first thought is, right, I'm going to try and take you on, and how can I get a shot off it? You know, he knows it's not a foul because he gets straight back up and gets after the ball. But Egeli does really well to buy the foul, I think. I'm not quite sure it's as bad a foul as the referee thinks it is.
Egeli, who spoke recently about how he's getting more and more accustomed to playing in English football. He'll have a much better idea of it once he's got through this festive period of games. Ball back there, just needing Crocombe to come and deal with it as we now approach the midway point in the second half. Worked out to Leif Davis, who didn't really have an option inside the box there, so he was forced to go back to Philogene. Put forward by Davis, and on the turn now, Akpom, it will break for Philogene. Tight situation, still got it at his feet, Jaden Philogene, and Max Crocombe in the way to keep it at 0-0.
Oh, it's a good save. All the Millwall defence was at sea then. You had both centre-halves trying to get the ball off Philogene, and he does really well to get his shot off. But Akpom does really well just before that to turn the defender and almost get a shot off himself.
Will McKenna, as we mentioned, speaks about the platform that he wants his starters to make in games for those who come off the bench. He's already made a couple of changes, bringing on Egeli and Akpom. And Ipswich find a way to turn 1 point into 3 here this afternoon to really put a bit of pressure on Middlesbrough ahead of their game a little later this afternoon at home to Blackburn. Or can Millwall find a way to turn this into a victorious afternoon and put themselves above Ipswich in the table?
Yeah, Ipswich are really starting to control this game now. It'd be interesting to see what options Millwall turn to on the bench, but it is a bit one-way traffic again, though. There hasn't really been any massive threat on the goal.
Egeli clips one towards the back post. It breaks to Philogene. Kramer just about manages to do enough, and Crocombe can just poke it out of harm's way. But Ipswich looking to keep their foot on the pedal here. Millwall appealing that the ball had gone out, but the game goes on. Here's Kipre. Helps it on to Philogene. That one cleared away by Imaku.
Ipswich just got to try and sustain the attacks, just make sure every time the ball goes out, they've got to try and recycle that ball, a bit like Leif Davis did before when it nearly went out for a throw-in. And Kipre's almost found himself playing centre midfielder. It's been a theme since the start of the second half.
Here's Egeli going for goal into the side netting.
Oh. He does everything right, doesn't he? Apart from hit the target, it's absolutely fantastic. The ball from Kipre out to him, and his first touch, and I know we're obviously seeing that Philogene that chance just before where he's twisted up the two defenders, but Crocombe does well to save the ball. But yeah, Eggerly coming in now, and it takes a really good touch, positive first touch inside, goes through the defender's legs, which blindsides the keeper, and unfortunately for him, it's the side netting.
The goals for him in his last 4 games. Got the late equaliser in the draw in the rearranged game against Blackburn at the start of the month, and scored in that win over Coventry as well. 2 more changes being made. As you see, Kayusta and Philogene departing.
Again, McAteer was really starting to get into the game, and then he brings him off, and then Philogene was just really getting going, and he's taken him off. I mean, the players coming on are obviously fantastic, but moments in games, maybe it's a little bit of impatience from McKenna.
Jack Clark coming on, who has done plenty of damage off the bench this season. There's going to be a change made by Alex Neil as well, as we tick into the final 20 minutes of the contest. And he's going to bring on Ryan Leonard, who's just working his way back to fitness. Came on as a substitute against Blackburn. Having not played since the very first day of November.
Ryan Leonard's got a long throw as well, so maybe he'll take over the long throw duties, but he's been a brilliant player for this club. He's a Plymouth lad, from where I'm from, and it's great to see the career that he's had.
On comes Leonard, and onto comes Tiano Ballo. Maku's had a good afternoon for Millwall, shown some really nice glimpses today. He departs, and just confirmation as well for Ipswich that the other change they made saw Jack Taylor thrown into the action. So 4 changes now made by Kieran McKenna as he looks to find the formula to bring about an Ipswich victory here this afternoon. And confirmation as well of the Millwall substitutions, with Billy Mitchell departing. Big boost for Millwall to have Ryan Leonard, though. They've, of course, got such a problem right now in that midfield area. Plenty of players on the treatment table.
Yeah, Billy Mitchell's done well this afternoon, but it's you know, you've got to try and do different things. Ipswich are really trying to take the game to Millwall, and Millwall have got to try something different, whether that's, you know, Leonard can shoot from distance and get a goal that way, or he's got a lot of energy as well. And as you see, Kramer going forward here.
Loves a burst forwards, and he's at it again here. Kramer just held up by the challenge coming in from Kipre, who's now looking to get on the front foot himself again, looking to step forward for Ipswich.
He doesn't want it. You don't want to do that. You know, you just ran all the way back as a team, and now you're running forward, and you almost turn the game into a bit of a basketball match. You've got to try and stop that. Just not get too excited, and just recycle the ball and make sure you keep possession.
Here's Ballo. What kind of influence can he have on the game? He's been a regular starter for Millwall. Started 12 of the last 14, but having to make his marquee hopes off the bench here today on a season loan at the club.
Yeah, he's someone who he's exciting, isn't he? He's another one who will look to try and take the full-back on when he gets the opportunity to. And, you know, Maku was doing well, but unfortunately wasn't getting enough service, and maybe they need a different option.
Of course, as well, the manager's having to manage the minutes, manage the loads of their players through this festive period. Both teams in action again in 3 days' time. The games come around so quickly at this time of year. I would imagine, Ben, not a lot of time for too much work on the training ground, more about recovery.
Yeah, it's about recovery, watching, you know, analysis meetings, and trying to, like, save your legs but use your head, and, you know, talking about that. It's trying to weigh it up. It's what's more important, the game that's in front of you right now and getting the points right now, or thinking about the game in 3 days' time. That's what managers, you know, they're paid their money for, and that's what they have to. That's why they have sleepless nights thinking about them sort of things. So trying to get that balance right is difficult.
If you can get it right at this time of year, it can make such a difference to your season. Free kick here for Ipswich.
It's amazing, because what you do right now can affect you, you know, 2 weeks down the line. If someone goes and picks up an injury 2 weeks down the line, you look back to moments like this. Did I play him, you know, 5-10 minutes too long? Because these wingers, they're so explosive. You know, that's why they pick up so many hamstring injuries.
So ticking towards the final 15 here in South London. Game that always had the makings of being tight this afternoon, and it's proven that way as well. Nunez will be disappointed with that delivery. Now Ballo on the chase, and he can shift through the gears really quickly. He breaks in midfield for Nunez, who has 4 ahead of him. Taylor works it across to Clark. 5 goals off the bench so far this season. Nunez looks to push one through to Akpom. Could he have rolled it right to Egerli instead?
Yeah, it looked like he picked the wrong option then, but we said about in the first half, maybe the game will open up for Ipswich. It looks like it is.
Egerli's cross is deflected, and it's just poked away. Millwall having some questions asked of them right now. Ipswich looking to come on strong. Egerli can get his pace up here. Egerli looking for the far corner. Well, you knew exactly what he wanted to do there, but he just couldn't find the execution.
Yeah, every time he gets the ball, he's looking to get at the full-back and get a shot off, and unfortunately gets it all wrong here. But it all starts with being positive. First thought, what can I do? How can I affect the game? What can I go and, assist or go and get a goal myself? And unfortunately for him, it's way off the target, probably by the standards that he sets.
Can Kieran McKenna's team find a way in the time that remains? Even Santa's made the journey to see them this afternoon. They've travelled in good numbers. I'll be hoping that they can have an afternoon of celebration and watch on at the other scores in the many games that take place in the Championship at 3 p.m.
Yeah, it's a big club. It's always well supported, isn't it? They're always well followed, and that's why it was so nice to see them back in the Premier League last season.
Looking to win their way back there and find an instant return to the Premier League. They've got themselves a corner here as the ball comes off Leonard.
Nunez has been busy, hasn't he? He's found himself on the ball quite a lot. Probably would have liked to have affected the game a little bit more than he has, but you can really see him now coming alive, finding that space and trying to affect the game.
Usual suspects come forward from the back. And Leif Davis come up with a delivery here. Host of players around the penalty spot right now. In comes the corner, and it's flicked away by Kramer.
Yeah, it's a great header. It's a really good header. Probably people don't really appreciate how good a header that is. You've got to make sure you put it away from your goal, and not only forwards but to the side as well. It's interesting to see, actually, Millwall picking the players up. The 2 big lads are obviously picking up the 2 big lads of Ipswich rather than sitting in the zones.
Opportunity to cross here. Low ball into the box, and Taylor sticks out his long right leg to get it half away. Another ball comes in. Kipre nods it forward. Furlong contesting, was leaning into Ballo there. Game goes on. Here's Egerli. Now Kipre. He looks to cross. It's not a bad ball in. It's dealt with by Cooper. Then the strike from Nunez just lands on the roof of the net.
It's a great ball from Kipre with his left foot as well. I mean, the theme was there from the very start of the second half, and this is probably the position he's found himself in most at the start of the second half, and he's putting a great ball there.
Nunez with a bit of a hopeful swipe at it, on which Max Crocombe just watched travel beyond him. And they have 2 tough tests in a short space of time. Ipswich Town, as we mentioned, they'll go to Coventry in 3 days' time.
Do you think we'll see Wes Byrne for 10 minutes, maybe?
Certainly an option, isn't it, for Kieran McKenna? Been out for so long, hasn't he? That year-long absence. And as you mentioned earlier, Ben, he was so important, wasn't he? So pivotal in that promotion-winning season a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and he had a really good first half of the season in the Premier League as well. And unfortunately, it's a horrible injury for him to pick up, but it's great to see him back.
Real boost for Ipswich heading into the second half of the campaign. Another talented player for Kieran McKenna to turn to. Millwall have struggled to create anything too clear-cut in this second period as Ipswich pick up possession once again. Taylor plays it forwards, looks to find Clark, who can't quite take it with him. Now a chance to have a run at the Millwall defence. He pokes in a cross and it's hooked away with Akpom looking to pounce, just couldn't quite get there.
Oh, it's a lovely little ball for Akpom, and Joe Bryan defends it really well in the end, but they're the ones when things are going for you, when you're firing and you're hot, you get your stud on the end of that and it goes in the bottom corner, and unfortunately for Akpom, that isn't happening at the moment. This game is opening up now for Ipswich more and more, and you can sense the frustration in the Millwall crowd as well.
15 attempts at goal so far this afternoon for Ipswich, but an XG of just 0.7. They have had plenty of the ball in this second period. Can they make the pressure count as the efforts flick towards goal? Millwall with everybody back right now, but now maybe an opportunity for them to surge forward, led by Taylor. Such a long strike. Can he poke it through? He can. Here's Negley. He goes around Walton. Can he find the empty net? He can. But it's not going to stand.
Wow.
Well,
was that a late flag? Was it a late flag?
Negley there denied by the offside flag.
Oh, Caleb Taylor does so well. He just gallops forward. And I'm thinking, keep going as a centre-back. Keep going, don't just force it. And he makes a fantastic pass. Just not quite sure. I'd like to see it again, whether he was offside or not. But,
it's going to be his last contribution to the game, as well as he makes his way off. As we see it again here, it looks very, very tight.
It is tight. I mean, again, to my eyes, it looks like the linesman's probably got it right, but it was tight, wasn't it?
Threat to Ipswich, though, as they commit those bodies forward. Millwall thought they had their moment. So a couple of changes made by Alex Neil, Zach Sturge and Bangora Williams coming on for the final minutes of the game. I'm keen to hear Alex Neil's thoughts on that offside decision just a few moments ago. Millwall thought that they'd got themselves in front, not to be. Maybe it just might get Millwall playing on the front foot a little more. Might just give them a bit more belief as this game reaches its closing stages. Yellow card has come out from Tim Robinson.
Yeah, that's what it's got to do now, because, you know, for 35 minutes of this half, it's been all Ipswich, really, and Ipswich haven't really created anything clear-cut to score a goal. And Millwall now got to be thinking, right, we've had an opportunity, we've just scored a goal, I know it was offside, but got to take confidence from that and you know, go for it in the last 10 minutes.
Darnell Furlong having his name taken. Joe Bryan and Emil Negley, the two players that were just replaced. Can they cause some concern here as the ball's flighted forwards? Taylor gets his head to it. All of a sudden it's Ipswich who are having to dig in defensively.
It's always down to you as the home team to kind of take the impetus to the opposition, isn't it? And that's obviously what they're probably thinking these last 10 minutes of the game. And the crowd will demand that as well, that's the thing.
They won't want Alex Neil's side to sit in here and invite Ipswich pressure. Can they find a way to win this game? A lot of room over on the far side for Clark, but he does win a throw.
Don't be surprised if these last 10 minutes are a bit like a basketball game where it comes wide open, both teams trying to, every time they get the ball, trying to score. Rather than patient build-up and patient play, they'll both be thinking, right, this game's here for us to win.
Any goal now likely to be a winning goal here this Boxing Day lunchtime. That's a Siwa. Across to Furlong. Now Egerle. Always a positive player, always looking to make things happen. Pokes it forward to find Furlong, who sends in the cross. Cooper only as far as Egerle. Now to Siwa. Now Taylor manages to just touch that ball on to find Matchday. Now Egerle. No way through on his cross. Sturge recently onto the field, knows he's going to have to keep concentrated for these final minutes as Ipswich push to find a winning goal. Kipray stepping forward again. Now Davis.
got a bit quieter on that left-hand side, hasn't it, since Philogene come off? And definitely Leif Davis has found himself getting the ball less and less.
That's a Siwa to Eggerly. Ipswich with 6 players in the box here, waiting for a cross to come. Eggerly sends it in now. Crammer only as far as Taylor. Millwall can't get out here. And Eggerly keep it alive. It's just going to run away from him, and Eggerly takes a tumble over the hoardings.
Oh, he's all right. He looks all right.
Nice smile on his face as he clambered his way back over. It's interesting, isn't it? We mentioned about the change made by Philogene coming off. And he was just starting to have an influence there. We can see him on the back of the bench. But as we just take a look now, Ben, at this huge moment in the game when the offside flag went up against Negley. It's mightily close.
It does look like the right decision, though. I think it is the right decision. But again, going back to what a fantastic run from Caleb Taylor to find him with that pass as well. It's a tidy little pass, and Walton was in no man's land. And unfortunately for Millwall, the goal doesn't count.
Wes Burns has come on for Ipswich for the final few minutes, replacing Marcelino Nunez. Challenge goes in. Referee was right on the scene. Millwall now with a free kick in a prime position here.
Yeah, going to have probably 2 or 3 queuing up now, fancying themselves for this one. But yeah, going back to Wes Burns, it's nice. It's nice to see him back on the football pitch after that horrible injury that he got, and hopefully for Ipswich fans, they'll get the same sort of output and the same sort of numbers that they got in the last year and a half of his career.
He's been such a good player for them. But a moment of concern here for Ipswich after that free kick was given away by Taylor and dangled out a leg. Alfie Doherty fancies this. He didn't get his opportunity in the first half when Millwall had a free kick on the edge of the Ipswich box, but he has a chance here.
Definitely looks like he fancies it. He's almost asserting his dominance there to say, I'm taking this free kick, it looks like. Unless it's all a bluff, of course.
Ivanovic also behind the ball, but it will be Alfie Doughty who steps up into the Ipswich wall. 2 free kicks they've had in similar parts of the pitch on the edge of the Ipswich box, and they've both been disappointing.
Yeah, they've both hit the middle of the wall, haven't they?
All flicked on, and will it break here for Langstaff, who was just trying to get on the end of that loose ball.
Kipre does really well there to get himself between the ball and the goalkeeper, just to allow the keeper to come out and smother the ball up. I thought Langstaff might have tried to take it on before it bounced.
We've seen his striking instincts a couple of times, haven't we, from Macaulay Langstaff when the ball's worked itself into the right area.
Yeah, he's what I'd call a poacher. You know, he's done really well at times today, being that team player like I spoke about earlier, but he is a real poacher. If things fall to him in the box, he generally puts them away, especially, well, he did at Notts County for them few years. He was there anyway, and he had fantastic numbers.
But it has been a long time since he scored for Millwall. Only goal this season, winning the game against Norwich all the way back on the opening weekend. That was a goal that came late in the day. Can he find one here today as we tick towards the final minute of the 90? Is Taylor. Strong challenge goes in, but it's a good advantage played by the referee as Clark looks to weave his way through the challenges, but Ipswich now are going to have a free kick. Jack Clark doing what Jack Clark does well, taking on opposition defenders, and now a chance for Ipswich to load the penalty area here.
Has Ryan Leonard got away without a yellow card there? Because he almost tried to foul him for a second time.
Card has stayed in the pocket of the referee. A real opportunity now for Ipswich. Nervy moments for Millwall.
Yeah, when you've got players like Jack Clark coming on with the quality that he possesses, it's frightening really to think of what quality they have got in their squad.
So Leif Davis stands behind this Ipswich free kick.
Is Wes Burns at the back post there?
Indeed he is. Can Leif Davis come up with the delivery? All eyes in a moment will be on Paul Howard, the fourth official, to see how much time is going to be bolted on at the end of this game. Concentration required for Millwall. Davis clips in the free kick. Cooper gets something on it, and then Crocombe comes and takes it in. Just a minimum of 3 minutes to be added on. Can one of these sides find a way to win this game?
I don't know about you, but this new rule with the keepers having to play the ball within, what, 7 or 8 seconds of catching the ball, I think it's fantastic, because last season you'd have quite happily seen the keeper catch that and go down on the floor, and it just makes it a bit more exciting. I know he tried to play that ball through and it didn't come to anything, but you wouldn't have probably seen that last season anywhere near as much anyway.
Crammer, strong from him. Looking to take on Clark here, who's sticking to him well. Crammer sends in a cross. It's awkward for Kipray. Just skipped up as he looked to make his clearance, and Hegley, no nonsense from him. Now all of a sudden it's Millwall's turn. They're being roared on by the home crowd here. Here's Clark again, and only one thought in mind: to drag his side forward. The offside flag goes up, and that will infuriate Kieran McKenna.
That can happen. He can see all the way across that line. Leif Davis does really well, actually. He beats Crammer to the ball on the header, and he realises that Crammer's got no energy left in his legs, and he just runs past him into that space. But Clark probably finds him a little bit too late, because he found himself in a real good position there.
So are the points to be shared here this afternoon? It looks that way right now. Two teams who so close to each other in the championship table, but we're hoping to strike a blow on the other here this afternoon as we tick into the final minute of time added on. Kipray wins the header. Huge appeals for a free kick, but nothing coming from Tim Robinson. Here's Akpom, who helps it on. And now a chance to stride forward here for Burns. Can Ipswich create one more chance in the little time that now remains? They're going to settle for a throw.
Yeah, Burns there tries his best. He huffs and puffs, but you know, it's hard for him. He might be a bit rusty coming back from that injury, and you know, it's just nice to see him back out on the football pitch and trying to influence the game in the right way.
I think we know what is coming here. Forward comes O'Shea. Forward comes Kipray. Millwall have dealt with balls into their box pretty well so far this afternoon, but there's one more to come, and it comes from Furlong. Time is up here at the Den. Millwall and Ipswich have to settle for a point apiece. Ipswich looked the more likely side in the second half, but Alex Neil's side stood firm, and Ipswich were unable to find a way through. The distance between the two teams in the table remains the same. Ipswich came on strong after dealing with a tough period in the start of the game when Millwall were on the front foot. They couldn't capitalise on that situation, but then too, neither could Ipswich in the second half. Kieran McKenna rang the changes to try and find a way to win the game. Macaulay Langstaff had a couple of half opportunities for Millwall through the course of the afternoon, but in the end the deadlock was not to be broken here this Boxing Day lunchtime. Full-time score at the Den. It finishes Millwall 0, Ipswich Town 0.